The event took place in a small village of Judea called Bethany, just a few kilometers away from Jerusalem. In Bethany, everything seemed normal that morning. The wind rustled the leaves of the olive trees, and distant church bells could be heard. But among the villagers, a painful rumor was spreading. Lazarus was dead. Lazarus was loved by the people, hardworking, kind, and merciful. His sisters, Martha and Mary, were also loved by everyone in the village. But now their house was filled with silence. In that stone house, where once prayers echoed, the only sound now was the cries of sorrow. Mary wept bitterly. Martha tried to stay calm, but couldn't. Yet both carried the same hope in their hearts. If Jesus were here, our brother would not have died. At that time, Jesus was in the region of the Jordan. When he was told about the death of Lazarus, his disciples wanted to set out immediately. But, surprisingly, Jesus stayed 2 more days and said to his disciples, "Lazarus is dead, but this is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Let us go to him." The disciples were confused. "Rabbi, the Jews were just trying to stone you, and yet you are going back there?" Jesus smiled and said, "Those who walk in the daylight will not stumble, for they see by this world's light." 2 days later, Jesus was on his way. As he approached Jerusalem, night was falling over Bethany. From the house, the sound of mourning could be heard, and silent crowds filled the streets. Lazarus had been buried 4 days earlier. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she ran out to meet him. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus looked into her eyes and said, "Your brother will rise again?" Tears welled up in Martha's eyes. "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." But Jesus told her this was not about the future. "I am the resurrection and the life. Do you believe this, Martha?" She wept and said, "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Son of God." Then Mary came out. Since her brother's death, she had hardly spoken a word. When she saw Jesus, she fell to the ground. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would be alive." When Jesus saw her weeping, his eyes filled with tears too. Those around them fell silent. And in that moment, the gospel recorded its shortest yet most powerful verse. Jesus wept. They went to the tomb. Jesus said to his disciples, "Take away the stone." Martha, fearful, replied, "Lord, it's been 4 days. There will be a stench." Jesus calmly said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" The stone was rolled away. The crowd fell completely silent. Jesus lifted his hands and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I say this so that those standing here may believe that you sent me. Now, Lazarus, come out." At that moment, something stirred in the darkness of the tomb. Lazarus came out, his hands and feet wrapped in burial cloths. For a moment, no one moved. Then some stepped back in fear, others shouted in joy. Jesus spoke again, "Unbind him and let him go." Mary ran to embrace her brother. Martha lifted her hands in prayer. The crowd witnessed the power of God. Some fell before Jesus, others fled in fear. That night in Bethany, not only did a man rise, faith itself was reborn. But the miracle also created new danger. Jesus' enemies now saw him as the man who could conquer death itself, and from that moment, he became their main target. Before leaving Bethany, Jesus placed his hand on Lazarus' shoulder and said, "My brother, life is a door that opens to the light of God. Those who pass through it are never truly lost. Lazarus could not speak, but the tears in his eyes said everything. Even years later, the people of Bethany still spoke of that day, of the moment the stone was rolled away, of the moment he wept, of the moment Lazarus stepped out of the tomb. And the scent of that night's air remained in their memory. For on that night, not just a tomb, but mankind's faith was renewed. Today, that tomb still stands. Among quiet, simple stones, the voice of God still echoes, "Lazarus, come out." And that same voice has whispered through the ages, reminding all of humankind, no matter how deep the darkness, the light will always find a way through. Yes, my brother, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to share your thoughts about this miracle of the Messiah. And if you wonder what Jesus did between the ages of 12 and 30, you can find it in the cards above. Take care and go in peace.